Welcome to the Muxall Open IoT channel. I am your host, Michael Crane. And test it for a bit before I go ahead and glue this thing down, because one of the problems that one of the testers ran into is he was reporting that the knob wasn't working and he was having problems with it rebooting. And what had happened is this part came loose. Actually, it was the back part on the LCD came loose. It's just a little thin piece of plastic protecting the LCD. And it's kind of like this right here, right? It like came loose. And as he was pushing on the button, it was pulling up on the headers. It was actually pulling the main PCB out of the button headers. And mechanically, the button actually just bottomed out on the button panel right here, and he couldn't push it. He couldn't get it to push anymore. He's like, oh man, I just can't get this thing to push, and then it started rebooting. So I guess it was getting some flaky connections. Maybe it had a bunch of, it was just barely connected in the headers, or the moving around of the pins inside the header was causing it to reboot and have all kinds of weird things. So we need to make sure that we glue this thing down well, right? So when we push on the button, we don't have any problems. And that's why I want to make sure this thing works perfectly before I add all that glue to it. And I call it glue. It's silicone rubber, and it is removable. It's the same stuff I use in the potting material and the faceplate right here. But yeah, we're going to add it here, of course up here, and along the sides, and right here. Everywhere around. Don't put it on this tie strap right here, but everywhere around where this button, because you can see the button is actually mounted to the main board right there. So and that's going to help hold everything together. Now this is only for the beta units. You don't have to worry about this if you're watching this video and you have a production model, because everything's soldered together. You won't have this tie strap or anything else. But just on these beta units that are using these headers, you'll have to glue this thing down. On top of this block right here that was holding this main PCB, so we need to use some electronics grade silicone rubber. Do not put anything permanent on this. No JB Weld or anything like that. And you don't want to put just regular silicone rubber on it, because it may damage the electronics. So I think it's Celastic is a generic name for it, but I don't think here in the U.S. they have Celastic, or if they do, they're not in business. I don't know. Anyway, it's electronics grade silicone rubber. But before we do that, we want to bench test this, and you have to bench test, or just stick it in your barbecue. That's the best. Just stick it in the barbecue, connect everything up, turn it on, and make sure it works, right? Before you start gluing anything down. Because you will be hating life if you put a bunch of silicone rubber, Celastic on this thing, and it doesn't work, right? So I'm going to go ahead and bench test it. Okay, so here's the stuff I'm using. If you can read that, electronics grade silicone rubber, safe for use with electronics. And that's kind of the key. You don't want to put anything on here that's going to mess up the electronics. You're probably not going to buy something this large. This little squeeze tube will do. Okay, yeah, and this stuff is a mess. So I went ahead and pulled the end of mine off, because it has long since gotten hard. I can't use it any longer, so I have to come right out of the top of this. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit hard to get down inside there. We'll do our best. You don't want to really squirt all the way up underneath there, because you want to be able to, if ever needed, to take this thing apart, and you can, this stuff you can get off. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but you can get it off, and where this board can be reworked. Let's see if I can do this where everyone can see it. And remember, you don't want it. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to put it on the strap in case we need to take it apart again. Hopefully we won't. All right. You guys see that okay? So now I'm just gonna smooth it. You don't want to get it on your LCD or anything else. The goal is, and maybe I should have mentioned that previously, you want to make sure this board stays in place when the button is pushed. And oh, another thing too I need to make sure to mention is to make sure to clean off where the cutout goes, because if you leave a big mound of RTV, I shouldn't call it RTV, but anyway, the silicone rubber, electronics grade silicone rubber, or it's elastic. If leave a big mound right there, then it won't mount flat on your grill, and it will cause problems, of course. Okay, so that looks pretty good on that side. Yeah, so we'll need to get some in there. Now, if I had a if I had a nozzle on this, it would work a lot better. Yeah, so the goal is that this elastic on the bottom needs to touch this elastic on the top to keep it all in place. And yeah, we're gonna have to man, this stuff is a mess. So make sure to have lots of paper towels handy when you're working on this. All right, and we'll do this side here. Anyway, I was going to say on the button side here, you need to make sure it's got a good glue joint, and try not to get it on the LCD. It can be cleaned off, but like I said, this stuff's a mess, man. All I have to do is look at it, and it'll jump on you, and jump on me, and I'll never get it off. Nice, good joint, and yeah, if you can, try to clean it all off these edges here, so you don't want it all up in here, and you kind of get the idea. Yeah, make sure it's not where the cutout goes. Yeah, like that. How's that look? Is it looking better? Yeah. Yeah, remember, the goal isn't water tightness. The goal is to make sure the bottom faceplate and the top main board don't come apart. And this stuff should work. It'll last a while. It's very weather tolerant, so it should last a long time actually. So yeah, don't forget, you'll have to clean it out of the holes. I'm not going to do this on camera. You guys get the idea. But that's basically it. I'm going to clean this up a lot. I'll sit here and with my knife or a little screwdriver and clean all the edges up, and make sure there's no see, like, there's a little blob right there. Clean all that stuff up, get in there maybe with a Q-tip or something, and clean it all up, and then just let it sit overnight. So there you have it. Don't forget, you can support the Muxall Open IoT channel by donation using a credit card and PayPal, or by purchasing products at the Muxall store. Details and links are in the description under this video. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, that helps, and hit the subscribe button, that really helps. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments under this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.